Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sports live stream watch along of the MotoGP Portuguese Grand Prix. We're just about to get going here, a bit late on our stream, so sorry about that, but we're about to start. The warm-up lap is complete. Muir starts at the front, has pole today, and it's a good start for him as he goes and leads down to the first turn. It's a right turn here on the first corner, and he comes out of it cleanly. So a good start for him. Zarco up to second. So this is a 25 lap race, but of course this is round 5, a couple of weeks after we had the American Grand Prix. We didn't do a watch along for that, so apologies we didn't do that as we were busy with the Masters Golf 2 weekends ago. But we're here now for the 5th round, and of course this is the Algarve International Circuit, known for also hosting the Formula 1 Portuguese Grand Prix over the last 2 years, with the especially with the lockdowns. Portugal were able to provide this track for those races to help F1 fill the calendar. I can't remember if Portugal is hosting F1 again this year. I'm not actually sure. But there is an F1 watch along straight after us here on Let's Talk Sport for the Imola Grand Prix. So that'll be Jack Price and Connor Porter, and you're getting through to that one. So at the moment, Muir first, Quintaro, the world champion, is second, Jack Miller third. That's exactly where Jack Miller started from at the starting grid. Alex Marquez fourth, Zarco down to fifth now. Miguel Oliveira, the local man of Portugal, he's in sixth for KTM. Espargaro seventh, and the other Espargaro is eighth. Marco in 9th, Alex Rins in 10th, Marc Marquez all the way down to 11th, folks. All the way down to 11th. He started the race in 9th and he's gone down 2 places. But at the moment, Juan Muir is leading the pack. He's nearly half a second quicker than Fabio Quintaro. Quintaro needing to get himself back into this championship, you could say. Do get in touch on our live chat page, folks. I'd love to hear from you. Always love your company here on the watch alongs. Let me just get my phone, just so I can actually read your comments. I'm able to use a laptop and a computer, and those screens are fulfilled by the streaming and the actual race itself. So do get in touch, give us a like, and do subscribe to the channel. So actually, looking at the live championship, even though it's early laps of this race, Muir would lead the championship after this race by 6 points. But I don't know why they're looking at it so early on. There's only been 2 laps and we've got a 25 lap race. And also we got the live poll, and we've asked you who you think's going to win. And interestingly, Quintaro is at 39%, but other riders at 43%. Jeeps M says, cheers from America. Hello, Jeeps. And Burgoyne saying, nice to see Jamie streaming again after being ejected from insomnia. Ejected. Oh, I thought you said injected for a moment. There we go then. Quintaro trying to go for Muir. He's actually just done a quicker lap than Muir by 0.3 of a second, actually. And that gap has actually, well, the gap, he's been able to create a gap over Zarco in third by 0.9 of a second. Oh, and one of the riders has just gone off the track. He's come back onto it. I'm not sure who that was. Looked like a Suzuki, I'm not sure. But Fabio Quintaro, yep, it's just been proven that he's got the fastest lap so far. The best ever race lap was a 1:39.4 from Alex Rins, and that was from last year's Portuguese Grand Prix. I think I remember that race quite well as well. We did a watch along for that. Meanwhile, it's got the camera on board of Quintaro. But yeah, Muir's got quite the battle ahead of him. I think he knows that if he's going to lead this race throughout most of it, he is going to have Fabio on his tail. Zarco in third, Miller down to fourth. He's been overtaken by Zarco. Alex Marquez down to fifth, and Oliveira down to seventh. He was sixth a lap before. No retirements as of yet. It's all good so far. Notice the leaderboard could just be a little bit more bigger for you. There we go. But yes, do subscribe to the channel. If you love your MotoGP, we'd love to get your support. We're trying to get as close to 7,000 subscribers. We're just 300 subscribers away, so do help us reach that target. Fabio Quartararo now leads the race. He's just overtaken the Suzuki of Juan Muir, and he's just done another fastest lap, a 1:39.8. So he improves his time from the previous lap, and Fabio Quartararo is leading. And he's had a bit of a, not the best of starts to this season, but he knows there's plenty of races to come back and fight for a second championship in a row. Won his first ever world title last year in very convincing style. But those last few races, probably got a bit too relaxed maybe, as Ducati won a lot of those races at the end of the season. But look at that, Francesco Bagnaia, all the way in 20th at the moment for Ducati, the man who finished second last year. Morbidelli is in 19th, and Morbidelli's had a good season so far. Bastianini, who's won 2 races so far, is 12th at the moment. 22 laps to go. Dovizioso is in 17th. In terms of the tyre choice, everyone I think have gone for mediums for the front and the back of their bikes. The tyre choice is exactly the same for the top 3 at the moment of Quartararo, Muir and Zarco. But at the moment, Yamaha leading in Portugal. I'm sure some of the fans would just like to see Miguel Oliveira get himself a few places up the ladder. 7th at the moment. They're coming down the straight again. The front lot. Greg Livingston saying, how's your day been, Jamie? It's lazy morning, to be honest with you, Greg. Mainly just setting up the streams for today. Obviously, we've got this one right now. We've got the F1 straight after this. That's not with me, that's with Jack and Connor. That's at 2 o'clock, so literally 50 minutes time. That's the San Marino Grand Prix. And then we've got some football for you tonight from Italy, which is Lazio versus AC Milan. I'll be covering that, so hopefully you'll join me on that as well. 7:45 kickoff. Marc Marquez up to 10th. He must have overtaken Jorge Martin if he has got himself up to 10th. Leaderboard updated as well. In terms of those that are having a pretty decent race. Oh, I just talk about Jorge Martin. He's gone off the track. And he's walking away on the gravel. He flips his visor up. And I think that's him done. Oh, he just goes off. Just a simple error. And that's a wasted for him and Pramik. He's put his visor back down. Probably doesn't want to be seen. But no rider enjoys that at all. They never like it. Well, either way, a DNF's bad for any racer, but not when it's their own mistake. Sun's starting to shine a little bit here on the Algarve International Circuit. It's been a bit cloudy throughout the day. Still a bit of sun here and there. Crowd's not at the fullest. There's 1 or 2 stands that hasn't reached a capacity. I'm not sure what I'm not sure if there's any COVID restrictions still in Portugal. It might be a little different there right now. I'm not sure. But Alex Rins, he's gone from 23rd to 8th in this race so far. So he could be a shout for rider of the day if he can keep at it. We will put out a poll at the end of the race to ask for your rider of the day, so Keep an eye out for that. But at the moment, in control, 1.2 seconds ahead, Fabio Quartararo. There's a yellow flag on sectors 3 and 4 when there's 20 laps to go. I'm not actually sure. The cameras hasn't gone to those sectors, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But they come down the straight. They're showing the back end of the line here, and there's a freeway of them coming down, including Morbidelli there. Going behind the Repsol Hondas, it looks like. Oh, there's a bit of a battle there. Marc Marquez and Paul Espargaro battling it for ninth. Espargaro leading at the moment, but there's a couple of bikes behind them of Bastianini and Benilles. Interesting battle going on here in the mid-table. Let's not forget, Marc Marquez had to miss 1 or 2 races because of an injury he got himself into during a warm-up. I think that was for the... trying to remember which race that was now. I think that was for the Indonesian Grand Prix that we did a few weeks ago. I remember that because it was an early start on a Sunday morning. So Marc Marquez still chasing down his teammate of Espargaro. And Marc Marquez never likes to sit back. He always likes to race. He never lets his teammate win. He always wants to remind them that he is a multiple world champion for a reason. So, a minute. But not a minute. I always say that. 1.6 seconds between the top two now. Quartararo showing the elements of last season of him dominating a race like this. When he's in the zone and the bike and the conditions are perfect for him, he absolutely nails it. And he does need a win. He really does. Better early than never. We got Lindsay Conway saying hi. Hello, Lindsay. Hope you're well. Saying hi a few times. Greg Livingston asking, how do the MotoGP do pit stops? Would it be like in F1 on how they do the pit stop? It was actually a little different, Greg. They actually rarely do pit stops unless they need to. If it starts to rain during the race, they might have to change the tyres because the tyres can't cope with wet conditions, with wet tracks. Or it could be changing their bikes. It doesn't happen that often. It depends on the weather. So you won't see a pit stop today. It's not in F1. You mainly see pit stops because of the tyre wear. They don't last a full race, and you have to pit anyway in F1. Which I didn't actually know that you have to pit at least once in each race, otherwise you don't get the points. You get disqualified. Not sure why that is. If anyone does know, feel free to share it on the live chat page and I'll read it. Alex Rins going up yet again. Up to 6 now. He's just taken over Alex Marquez. He's having to battle it out though. He's coming for him again. On the inside. This is the battle for 5th. 4 bikes going for it at the moment. Espargaro, Rins, Marquez and Oliveira. So you got that going on. You got the battle for 9th going on with Marquez. Always looks like, just looking at the leaderboard, Marquez has overtaken Espargaro now. So Marc Marquez is in 9th place. Espargaro, Paul Espargaro that is, in 10th. Come down the straight now, Rins, Espargaro, Marquez and Oliveira. That's the ones in 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. So on lap 9 of 25, folks. And you can see that the next 2 races are on the screen. So actually it's in a week's time, isn't it? 1st of May. So yeah, next Sunday on Bank Holiday weekend here in England, it will be the Spanish Grand Prix, which is of course taking place at Jerez circuit, which is known for being an old F1 test circuit ahead of an F1 championship season. And then in 2 weeks after that, it's the Mans, famous of course for the Mans 24-hour race. That's on the 15th of May, so that's the French Grand Prix. So a lot of European races to come for both MotoGP and F1 over the next few months in the summertime. Meanwhile, Quartararo is just creating a bigger gap now. He's nearly 2 seconds ahead of Muir in 2nd. And the gap between Muir and Zarco, though, second and third, it's only 0.2 of a second. Zarco going for it. It might be too late to get. There's still 17 laps to go, but I'll be amazed if Zarco can overtake Muir and then go for Fabio afterwards. Because I think you got to remember as well, while he overtakes Muir, if he does go for it, he's going down the straight now with him, trying to go on the inside, but he brakes too soon maybe. But I don't think he liked the risk there, and I think for now he's just letting Muir stay in front on lap 10. Dovizioso has gone down to 18th now, so he started the race in 16th, gone down 2 places. The only DNF we've got so far is Jorge Martin, started the race 13th, but went out on lap 4. No collision with any of the riders, he just simply slipped off the track and into the gravel. But I think Fabio will like knowing that Muir and Zarco are battling it out, because that just helps him create a bigger gap while those two are getting themselves busy. Jamie Burgoyne asking, are you a 1-stopper or a 2-stopper, Jamie? Whoa, you know, I wouldn't like to stop at all. I'd rather stay on the track. Oh, there's a yellow flag. Sector 2, and it is Ennio Bastianini. Oh, dear. He's had such a good start to the season, and he's screaming down with frustration. Pretty much the same reaction as Jorge Martin earlier on in this race. Oh, dear. That doesn't help in the championship. He's 4th at the moment. And he was 8 points behind Quintaro, and he will be if it stays like this. But every DNF doesn't help towards the championship. He just goes off. Went too fast towards the turn, it looked like. Maybe Bastianini was facing pressure from the riders behind him. But at the moment, Fabio is going down the straight again to get it on to lap 11. So he would go top of the championship. He'd be 3 points ahead of Alex Rins and Muir, so they would both be on second and third with the same points. Bastianini, as I mentioned, will be 4th with 61. Just any points probably would have done for Bastianini today. It hasn't been an easy race weekend for him. Another fastest lap from our front man, a 1:39.4. And he's now 2.5 seconds ahead of Muir. Burgoyne says, I'm a fan of a 1-stop with hard tyres and a stint on softs to finish. However, it allows a lot of risk, and the hards are proving tough to warm up this year. I think Bottas is a lover of that strategy. I've always liked it. I've always liked it with Sergio Perez, the way he's done it, but he doesn't do it as often with Red Bull these days. I have a feeling they've kind of told him not to go down that route when it comes to a car like Red Bull, when they can prove to pick themselves up after a pit stop. At this rate, Fabio is just going to keep creating a bigger gap. Zarco is a second and a half ahead of Jack Miller. There's yellow flag again on sectors 3 and 4, according to race control. I do like Quintaro's helmet. I've just recently bought myself a helmet. I've got myself a 125cc scooter, MGB make, but I bought a Mugello 2016 edition of Valentino Rossi's helmet. Fluorescent colours of what he's known for. Nakagami has apparently crashed. Not seen the footage, but he's crashed, but apparently he's rejoined. So Nakagami, I'm not sure where he is in the leaderboard at the moment, but I'm just watching the replay. Oh, he collided with Oliveira, I think, from behind. Bike went off. He had to then try and pick it up, and those are heavy motorbikes. He needed help from a race steward there, which they are allowed to do. But yeah, the support for the riders is amazing on these circuits. They come to them straight away in any hope that they can get them back out on the track, which is good for the fans as well. No one wants to see someone get a DNF. If there's any chance to save their race, it's nice to see, I think. So 3 seconds ahead, Fabio Quintaro. Ron Muir second, Johan Zarco third, Jack Miller fourth. Espargaro 5th. Alex Rins 6th after he started 23rd. Unbelievable race for him so far. Miguel Oliveira 7th. Portuguese crowd would love to just, probably not a chance of a podium, but maybe trying to get into the top 5. Who knows? Alex Marquez 8th. Marc Marquez 9th, trying to just keep himself ahead of his teammate Paul Espargaro after he overtook him a few laps ago. Benillas 11th. Bagnaia 12th now. He was 20th not long ago. He's done alright there. Vanillas 13th. Just shows how it changes the MotoGP leaderboard. You can never second guess it. Hence why I never understand why they show the live championship leaderboard so early in a race when there's so much to go. But if you're new to our channel and you love your MotoGP, folks, click that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate your support. If you love your Formula 1, we've got a race straight after this at 2 PM UK time. So literally in 40 minutes time, it'll be the F1 Imola Grand Prix. So there'll be a watch along for that as well. And isn't this sad? Seeing Bastianini go off back to the garage. Gets a lift from someone on a scooter. Marc Marquez camera shows from the back of his bike Bastianini's collision. Sorry, I say collision. He went off the track himself. But yes, he is frustrated with himself. Just feels like a waste of a weekend, doesn't it, if you get a DNF, because you get nothing. You get no points. You literally get nothing. It was just a waste of your time, basically. Which, of course, they don't know that when they of course race. They hope to do their best, but it just shows, really. Currently, Fabio now leading the poll. 55% of you going for him to win this Portuguese Grand Prix race. Not surprised, he's dominated pretty much since the third lap, I'd say. He's over 3.5 seconds ahead now of Juan Mir. Juan Mir, I think he may have conceded the race now, but he's just making sure he can at least get second. Zarco still behind him, right behind him, and Jack Miller watching both of them. I don't mean to say this, but Jack Miller probably hoping that they might collide, or one of the two, but both of them make a mistake and he goes in for the opportunity. He's always here, there, everywhere, Jack Miller. You don't really know what kind of race he's going to have. It's not always the best. He's not a championship contender, whether you Aussies like it or not, but he just isn't. He's not a good enough rider in my eyes. Eight tenths of a second between Zarco and Jack Miller in third and fourth. And the sign of El Diablo on the racing time board of Fabio Quartararo just being... Well, he was told that he's 3.6 seconds ahead, but he's actually 4 seconds ahead now as he goes around turn 1. And here come Mir and Zarco coming behind. They're just too slow for Fabio at the moment. The race is in Fabio's hands. The only thing that can stop him now is himself. Marc Marquez looks like he's getting a little bit of a distance now between himself and his teammate. 2 seconds ahead according to our leaderboard. But, I mean, Binder's not... I mean, Binder for... with you, Yamaha is doing alright. He's 12th. Started the race 22nd, so he's gone up by 10 places. Bagnaia starting at the back. Now he's 13th. Must have gone down a place because he was 12th when we last checked up on him. Oh, Jack Miller's having to really be careful now. He's got Espargaro right on his tail to try and nick 5th off him. Sorry, 4th. But right now we're seeing a battle for 4th and a battle for 2nd. 4.5 seconds between 1st and 2nd. Oh, he's gone wide. Zarco, he overtook him. He overtook Muir, then he went wide, and Muir's gone back to 2nd. But that means Jack Miller's got even closer to the 2, especially on the back of Zarco. Oh, it's always a bit shaky to see them approach a corner when they stick their leg out. I mean, I'm only just getting used to going around the roads on a 125cc scooter. But seeing these lot toss up side to side when making a turn, I just can't imagine doing that. Not at their speeds. A lot more vulnerable MotoGP riders than Formula 1 drivers. And I think that's what makes it very, very exciting to watch. Greg says, right, Jamie, I'm away for a few drinks. It's my dad's birthday today, so we are to go out for a few drinks, but we'll be back for the football later. Bye. Well, send your dad birthday wishes from Let's Talk Sport, including myself. How old's he going to be, Greg? How old or how young is he today? Fabio's just getting quicker and quicker. He's 4.8 now. 4.8 seconds. It's funny how a rider like him can create a gap like that, but you still have Muir and Zarco just battling it out. It's mad. Just shows how good the circuit has been for Yamaha this weekend. Zarco overtakes Muir on the inside of turn 1. Can he hold on to it this time? He couldn't last time. Oh, this is mightily close. Still 9 laps to go as well. 56. So happy birthday to your dad, Greg. 4 away from 60. He's past the halfway point of his 50s, mate. Don't remind him that, though. Espargaro is actually doing quicker laps than Zarco, and he's in 5th. 6 tenths quicker than Zarco in the last lap. Dovizioso has got a warning sign next to his name on the leaderboard, but I'm not sure why. That hasn't come up on the feed to say why or anything, unless it's just gone up, but hopefully we'll get an explanation, unless it's a penalty towards him. So 2 riders out so far, Jorge Martin of Pramac and Bastianini, who's won 2 races so far. Will so far see himself in 4th in the championship if things stand like this in this race. Yeah, it was Bastianini who won the US Grand Prix 2 weeks ago. Alex Espargaro winning in Argentina. Oliveira winning in Indonesia. And then Qatar won by Bastianini again. So Fabio Quartararo on course to win his first race of the season. 5.5 seconds ahead of Johan Zarco now. But the 2 Ducatis... Jack Miller, who knows? Maybe he could pip Muir to 3rd and get them second and third on the podium. That would be a good day for them. Brad Binder has crashed in Sector 3 in turn 11, it looks like. That's why there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Not seeing the cameras on it, though. So I'm sure they'll show a replay in just a moment. But that looks like it might be the end of the race for Binder. But here comes Zarco again, going on the inside of Muir. There is a... Oh, and they've both collided! Oh, no! Oh, dear! Zarco, off he goes. Or is it just... It's Muir. Well, no, Zarco's still there. No, it's Miller. Oh, dear. I thought it was Zarco, but it's Miller. So Miller and Muir out of the race. So Zarco might have just sealed second. Let's watch this again. There was one of the riders, I think it was Nakagami, who was up in front, who was a lap behind, and then they both just collide. Muir and Miller on the first turn, and they both go into the gravel. And it's just good to see that both riders are checking that they're both okay. Oh, Miller. I wonder if that'll go down as a Miller error there. Oh, the Suzuki lot. One of the engineers was just... He had a clipboard. He was just about to slam it on the ground, but he resisted. But it's just nice to see both riders give each other a hug. Instead of... we've seen it in a lot of motorsports where when people crash, they normally have a go at each other, but not with these two. So Zarco second, and that now puts Espargaro in third. Alex Rins fourth. If Rins can get third, he's going to easily be our rider of the day. 6 laps to go. Can he do it? Let me just check the... I think he is literally a second behind. Is that enough time to try and overtake? We'll see. But Alex Espargaro, as we mentioned, won his first race earlier this season. He'd love to get a podium, I'm sure. And that would now put him third in the championship. And he'd only be 3 behind Quintaro. Alex Rins at the moment in 4th. Would be level at the top of the championship with Quintaro and 69 points. Oliveira, of course, the man from Portugal. His home race, he's now 5th. Might be... Don't like to doubt people, but I can't see him getting the top 3. So there's not going to be any investigation regarding the incident between Jack Miller and Juan Muir. It could have been a great weekend for Muir. A podium would have been good enough, even though he got pole position yesterday. But I think he knew that Fabio was always going to try and beat him to it for the race. I do feel for Muir. You want to at least get podium when you get pole position. Burgoyne's put a shout out and said also happy birthday to our own Joe Crosland, the Greg Prime we call him. He'd love it if you sang him a happy birthday. I'll do it at the end of the race. Five laps to go. Actually, Burgoyne asked Crystal to sing Joe a happy birthday. I think he'd appreciate more from a lady. But no, we've been meaning to get Joe Crosland on a cricket watch along. We haven't done that yet. We'll try and do a few T20s this summer if we can here on Let's Talk Sport. Francesco Bagni now up to 9th, starting the race in 24th. What a rider. It's been a frustrating season for him so far. Hasn't had much light. He's now chasing down Paul Espargaro to at least achieve 8th or higher in this race. He really is in a race of his own today, Fabio. You just wonder if they feel any pressure when they're leading a race that they should pretty much win. They're just showing a slow-mo of him going up a hill with his front tyre in the air in front of a crowd. Dark clouds today at the Algarve circuit. Not been an easy day in terms of weather over there. Of course, it was raining the other day in Imola for the Formula 1. So do join us after this. It's on straight after this watch along, which is at 2 o'clock with Jack Price and Connor Porter. 3 laps to go on lap 22 of 25. And Jack Miller's just been dropped off at the garage. It says on the back of his helmet, thriller. Well, it certainly was a thriller of a collision. Oh, he just slipped. It was him. He just went off, and because of Muir being behind him, all he can do is apologise. Heaven Rider Abby saying, go Mark. He's in 7th. I think Jack Miller's still got that dodgy moustache. He hasn't taken his helmet off yet. Yeah, Muir doesn't look happy looking at his body language as he goes back to the Suzuki garage. So we've had 5 retirements. We haven't seen the Binder moment. I don't know what happened there. I wonder if he just went off the track himself. But we've got a battle here of the Marquezes. Alex Marquez approaching turn 1 with Marc Marquez right behind him. Alex Marquez actually has different tyres, well, the rear tyres than Marc Marquez. He's on hard tyres. But I think what I'm going to do is, folks, is put up the Rider of the Day poll. I think we all know that at this rate Quintaro is going to win. So we're going to put it up now on the poll, Rider of the Day. And I'll put these up. Just wondering who else could go up there. Right, so we've asked for your Rider of the Day, folks. Do vote on that poll and we'll announce it at the end of the race. Fabio Di Gianantonio has retired. They haven't showed it, but it's sectors 1 and 4 that has yellow flag. Must have been at the straight. 2 laps to go. Fabio Quintaro just creating a bigger and bigger gap every time I check the leaderboard. He's now 6.3 seconds ahead of Johan Zarco. Zarco was chasing for the championship off Fabio around the midway point of last season, but then he started to die down and start going lower in the leaderboard while Fabio just stayed where he was at the top of the tree. I think a lot of people would love to see Alex Rins get 3rd after starting in 23rd. I mean, I think he's my Rider of the Day if you ask him for my opinion, if you're not sure who to vote for. So yes, vote on that poll, folks. It won't be up for long. And there's a battle here Again, Alex Marquez 7th, going ahead of Paul Espargaro. On to the last lap now, Fabio, as he's gone down the straight. 1 lap to go. He should be fine, though. As I said, only himself stopping him. And here is Alex Marquez overtaking Marc Marquez down the straight. He goes in front of him. Ooh, for a moment I thought Marc Marquez lost control of his bike there. He stays on, but he has to stay in 7th for now. Oliveira in 5th. Might be too late for Alex Marquez to challenge the Portuguese rider. So yeah, Morbidelli and Dovizioso both got warning signs. I'm not sure, they haven't said why, but I wonder if these are either penalty pendings or they've already given those two riders a penalty, which would probably involve taking, what, 5-10 seconds off their race time. Quantaro's gap has shortened to 5.8, but it's a simple enough race for Fabio. He's pretty much controlled it since, what, lap 3 or 4? But meanwhile, the cameras are on the places for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. I'll tell you what, Paul Espargaro's got to be careful here. Bagnier's now overtaking him on the inside. Oh, will he do it? He does. Marc Marquez leading the pack. Oh, he's overtaken Alex Marquez again now. Fabio Quintaro, he punches the air. He waves to his team. And it's his first win of the season for Fabio Quintaro. The world champion has finally lifted off in race 5 of the 2022 championship. But meanwhile, let's go back to this at the straight. Oh, and I think Marc Marquez has just beaten Alex Marquez to it on the straight. And he'll get 6th place. I'll just make sure I'm getting that right, because the leaderboard might just change. But meanwhile, here are your front 3 then. So Fabio Quintaro gets the 25 points. Johan Zarco with 20 points in 2nd. And Alex Espargaro gets himself on the podium. He keeps himself away from Alex Rins, probably the rider of the day, in 4th. But for now, the champagne is in the Yamaha garage, and the stewards going round to Fabio to congratulate him and give him a pat on the back while Fabio waves to the fans in the stands. A good day for Italy. But yeah, that'll really help him. And another different race winner this season. We've only had 5 races, and I think I'll double check, because I don't want to get this wrong. So, in Qatar, we had Bastianini winning it. Oliveira won in Indonesia. Espargaro won in Argentina. And then Bastianini won in America. So, after 5 races, we've had 4 different winners. Great start to this season. So we'll go through the leaderboard then. Fabio Quintaro winning the race today in Portugal. Zarco in 2nd. Espargaro finishing the podium in 3rd. Alex Rins starting from the back of the grid pretty much to finishing 4th. Best driver of the day, no doubt about that. Miguel Oliveira from Portugal in his home race could only finish 5th at the end. Started 11th though, hence why he made the nomination of our poll. Alex Marquez, well, apparently he pipped Marc Marquez at the end at the straight in 6th. I'm not sure if he did. Unless our leaderboard here on the screen needs to change, but I'm just reading from that. Oh, here we go. It's just updated as I talk about it. Marc Marquez does get 6th and finishes ahead of Alex Marquez in 7th. Francesco Bagnaia is 8th at the end, and Paul Espargaro having to finish 9th. Not the best of races for him. He did get overtaken quite a lot, but I think he did well to stay in the top 10. Vinilas from Aprilia Racing is in 10th, so that's your top 10 right there. Dovizioso 11th, Marini 12th, Morbidelli 13th, Gardner 14th, Bezecchi in 15th, Nakagami second from last in 16th, and Binder from With You Yamaha finishes last in 17th. But Savadori, Gian Nantonio, Muir, who was pole city yesterday. That was Ranmuir, Jack Miller, Brad Binder, Bastianini, and Jorge Martin, all DNF. So in total, that is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders out in today's race. Started with 24, only finished with 17. But it just shows how unpredictable this MotoGP season has. And we've only had 5 races. Next race coming next Sunday. So not long to go until we see them race again. This time it'll be in Jerez for the España Grand Prix. First time we'll be in Spain, I think, yet this season. And I think we have Valencia late on in the season as well. But Alex Rins getting as you'd expect, getting huge admiration from his engineers here as he parks his bike. It would have been great if he got third. I mean, he still had a fantastic race, but if he had got third place, that would have been one hell of a ride. But Quintaro still going around the circuit with an Italian flag. He must have picked it up from the stands. Francesco Bagni, I think he could be happy with today. 8th place. Good race for him. Started 24th and he's gone up by 16 places. Maybe he should have been on the nominations list. Apologise I didn't have him on there. Let's look at that rider of the day. Heaven Rider says, I feel people are being unfair to Marc Marquez after his return. I mean, do you mean the press or the fans? I haven't, to be honest, I've not seen much about Marc Marquez. I've not seen much negativity. I mean, I think it was just because the incident he did in the warm-up. And I think people always say, that is avoidable. Burgoyne responding, saying that I don't even know who he is, to be fair. I'm just having a lovely time. Heaven Rider also says that Marc Marquez has to do something out of box to be that champ again. He's there. It hasn't left him, but he just makes too many mistakes. He had too many DNFs last season, and you can't. I mean, it's obvious what I'm going to say. You can't win a world championship if you have a handful of DNFs. It just never happens. Whether that's in MotoGP, Formula 1, or IndyCar, you name it. You just can't. It just doesn't work like that. I just think maybe Marc Marquez, maybe he's pushing himself too much. Maybe he's got the speed right, but he's just trying to go above and beyond, which is just too much even for a rider like him. It's a tricky one. I'm sure he'll still be fighting for world championships, whether that's this season or next season. There's still plenty of years left in Marc Marquez. But yeah, that has pretty much come to the end. Let me just check the MotoGP standings after the 5th race of the season. We'll have to use the good old internet off the MotoGP website itself. Or can I get it from here? We use flash scores for... as you can see, I'm to scroll the internet now. There we go, standings. Here we go. I don't think they've updated it. This was updated on the 10th of April, so they haven't updated it on flash scores, which is annoying. I'll just try and refresh it and hope that it's updated, but if not, we'll leave it. We'll leave it and I'll just find it on my phone instead. Sorry about this. MotoGP standings. Oliveira's only just come back into the garage. He waves his Portugal flag around to his fellow Portuguese people. Right, here we go. Motorsport.com. Here we go. That's quick. Nice and quick. So, Fabian Quintaro top. Well, joint top with Alex Rins after a remarkable ride from Rins today. What a ride just to get that. So that means Alex Rins and Quintaro are neck and neck at the top with 69 points. Just 3 points behind is Alex Espargaro. Iñigo Bastini with a DNF today. Just imagine if he had finished the race with some points, he would have been top either way probably. But he finished 4th with 61. 10 points behind him is Johan Zarco. So Zarco able to close the gap on the Italian because of finishing 2nd. A good race for Zarco today. Johan Van Muir, no, of course, DNF, no points for him. He goes to 6th place with 46 points. Brad Binder in 7th with 42 points, so that's 4 behind. Miguel Oliveira goes up to 8th. Jack Miller with the retirement stays with 31 points. Francesco Bagnaia goes level with him in 10th with 31 points. Marc Marquez is also on 31 points. So you've got 3 riders joint 9th there. And that's it really. The only ones that haven't got points yet is Fernandez, Gian Antonio, who retired in today's race, Stefan Bradel, and Lorenzo Zavadori. So everyone else has got points up to Remy Gardner, who's 22nd with 3 points. So I think we are going to wrap it up there, folks. Thank you as always. Let me just actually, before I do that, let's end the poll for Rider of the Day. Evan Ryder responding to what I was saying about Marc Marquez, saying, I wish too that he will come back soon as a champ, we know. I'm sure he will. I think he's got to realise that he's making too many mistakes to try and... You got to be consistent. It's as simple as that. If you're not consistent in any motorsport, you're not going to win. You'll get top 10, at least at his level, all the time, but not like this. But who knows? Who knows? But anyway, we've just ended the poll. And, wow, I must admit, I thought Alex Rins had a better chance for Rider of the Day. He was my Rider of the Day. But Fabio Quintaro, 64%. Alex Rins, 24%. Oliveira, 10%. So thanks for voting if you did. If not, we'll do it again next time for next weekend for the Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez. So do join me for that here on Let's Talk Sport. And if you're worried about how do I find this channel again, click that subscribe button to Let's Talk Sport. And of course, you will be up to date with our future MotoGP streams as well as other sports. We've got the World Championship Snooker going on. We've got the F1 Imola Grand Prix happening in 7 minutes time. Well, I think it's live now on the channel. So do join Jack Price and Connor Porter for that. And tonight we've got Lazio AC Milan in Serie A. What is there not to like? Football Italia on a Sunday night with your Yorkshire pudding. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up there. So congratulations to Fabio Quintaro, our 4th different race winner in the last 5 races. What a season we have in front of us. It's goodbye for now here from Let's Talk Sport. Thank you for watching.